Hey everybody, today we're going to do a dessert, and I'm going to try to do mini summer desserts. That way you have a lot of ideas for the summer. This first one is going to be strawberry pound cake. You're going to need to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And right here in my bowl, I've got my dry ingredients. I'm going to use self-rising flour instead of all-purpose. You can do either one. If you do self-rising, you need to eliminate the salt and the baking powder. But if not, just follow the directions on the recipe. This is 3 cups of flour and 2.5 cups of sugar. I went ahead and sifted them with my whisk to try to get any lumps out. So you take that and set it aside. Alright, so in your mixing bowl, in a clean mixing bowl, you want to add your wet ingredients. You're going to need 2 sticks of real butter. They're supposed to be softened, but these are a little bit too soft. Your vanilla and your eggs. We only need about a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay. And your 5 eggs. Now, I was supposed to add the sugar to this, and I accidentally mixed it with the flour. But that's okay. Do need to kind of cream those first. So if you were following the directions, like I wasn't, you need to make sure that your sugar goes in with this. Now, what you're going to do next is you're going to have a whole cup of milk. Recipe says use whole milk or 2%. And you're going to alternate between that cup of milk and your dry ingredients, which is supposed to just be flour, not sugar. Sugar's already supposed to be added, but you know, I made a mistake. But it's okay, it's still going to work. So what I typically do is go ahead and measure out, if I'm able, my milk, and then set it right here beside your bowl. And what you're going to do is you're going to alternate. So let me go ahead and put some of our flour sugar mixture in. Okay. And then we need to beat that. Now add some of your milk. Now your flour mixture, and you just keep alternating this until the milk and the flour is incorporated. you're going to add in your strawberries. 2 cups worth, which is a little bit less than a quart of strawberries, if that gives you kind of an idea. But what you're going to do is the leftover strawberries, you are going to chop those up and you're going to use those in your glaze. So don't eat them and don't get rid of them. You're going to need them for the second half of the recipe. This part though, you need to chop up your strawberries and you need to blot them dry with some paper towels, and you need to fold them into the batter. Okay. Very carefully. One good, couple of folds in, it should be good. You don't have to worry about anything. Just make sure they're incorporated. Alright, so this is enough for 2 pound cakes. It's going to go into a 350-degree oven for about an hour. And then both of them need to be cooled for about a half hour. And then we're going to put the glaze on top. So let me get these in their pans and get them in the oven, and then we'll go ahead and get the glaze ready to go. Okay, so we got those in the oven, and I'm going to chop what was left in the container. So you should have about 4 or 5 left, unless your grocery store is generous and put a little extra in there. Okay, so what you need to do, these are going to go in your glaze. Your glaze is going to be powdered sugar, a little bit of milk, and this. So, in my opinion, now the recipe doesn't really state this, just says half cup of fresh chopped strawberries. Try to get them as little as possible. Not minced, but not like big dices either. Okay. Now, I have showed y'all before how to make a glaze, and it's really, really simple. You shouldn't feel intimidated at all. So, we'll get these chopped, we'll set them aside, and then we'll make the glaze. You're going to need 2 cups of powdered sugar, and you need to move this around, bring this here. You need to kind of sift them a little bit if you can. So usually you can kind of stir them with a fork or use a whisk. So let me get that measured out real quick. Alright, this is a 1/3 cup measure, so I'm going to have to use this 6 times instead of trying to find my 1 cup measure. 1, 2, and you don't have to be real exact with this. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Because you're probably gonna have some glaze left, to be honest. And what you need to do with that, I have no idea. I mean, you could probably make some like donuts or something, some biscuits, and pour it over that. That would probably be good, or just some biscuits. You know, kind of like the ones you get at Hardee's or McDonald's. It has like a glaze or an icing over top of them. Okay. Now, what you need to do is we'll mash these strawberries just a little bit. Also, before we put them into, let me just mash them with a fork just a little bit. kind of mush them. Take just a few extra minutes to do that. Alright, so I've already got my powdered sugar in my bowl. And what you're going to do is you are going to add milk to the powdered sugar. It doesn't give a measurement, so you're going to just slightly do it, just a little bit until you get the consistency you want. So let's just start with like that. It's better if you use a whisk to get the lumps out, but sometimes even that doesn't get the lumps out. Okay, you don't want it too thick, and you don't want it too thin. And then a little bit. I kind of mushed them a little and add them to it. Okay. Just kind of stir them together. Okay. So we'll just set this aside until the cakes are done. Now, with it sitting, you may have to add just a teeny bit of milk to it to thin it back out, you know, with it sitting like that. But just do it very little. Don't do too much. All right, I'll see you back here in a few. Hey everybody, I am back with the cooled pancake, and I'm going to glaze it. And remember, that glaze we put together was enough for both cakes. So that's all you have to do. I put it on a cooling rack and lined a cookie sheet with wax paper, but you could do parchment paper, you could do foil, you could do anything just to help with cleanup. That's it. That's all you have to do. Alright, I'll see y'all next time.